I want to get to another subject that you and I have discussed. I don't know that I agree with you, but in the interest of full disclosure, I don't know that I disagree with you. And for all of you watching, and let me say thank you to Raider Nation. Uh, we're very grateful to you. We're very grateful for the Fans First Sports Network that carries all the audio of our podcast. We're professionals. We're two professionals. We're not dropping F bombs. That's not how we do things. We're professional journalists. And so we like to have a discussion and we don't insult you, the fans. So make sure you join us and put your comments down here. We want to hear what you think. John, you think that all games, unless they're night games, should be played at 1 o'clock local time. I like that on some cases, but like I look at Christmas where you're stacking 3 games and it's the fun of watching 3 games. I mean, then I look at Thanksgiving, which, growing up in Michigan, you always help digest your turkey by watching the Lions fail. Clearly, this year that might be a little bit different. I'm not so sure. After 1 year, I'm willing to jump on board. I can see on those days stacking the games, but dig a little deeper into your theory and why you think that's a good idea.
Sure. And I actually think it's a trump card that the NFL is holding for a time they want to boost again. When you think about the great March Madness weekends, the first weekends of March Madness, you have a game ending and it rolls into another one that's about to start ending, and it rolls into another that's about to start ending, and so on. And you think about the NFL, what we see too often is an over-bloated 1 p.m. kickoff slate. There's 8 games on. There's too many games on, to be honest with you, that you can really watch. Now, starting every game at 1 o'clock local, except the night games or the holiday games, is not that big of an adjustment. But what it would create, of course, with the central and mountain time zones, is an opportunity to have some rolling endings. You'd have the Bears kicking off an hour later than a game in Philadelphia, for example. And what I think that would do is give more fans a chance to watch, especially the end of games, and also watch games at different points. Like you, I'm a guy that likes to watch a lot of games at once. I think you can watch about 3 at once. Now, some people may be beyond that and can somehow watch more. I don't know. And some folks may say, hey, I can only watch 2 at a time. But I think you can watch about 3 at a time. And out of those 3, one of them may be not as competitive as the other 2. But my theory is the NFL already owns Sunday. It can own and it will own Sunday even more when it starts to have every kickoff be at 1 o'clock local time, opening up the opportunity to spread out the endings across the day and not really doing any damage to anybody. From a fan standpoint, I've never lived in the central or mountain time zones, but I don't think I'd be a big fan of going to games at 11 or 12 o'clock versus knowing they were going to start at 1 o'clock every time. Now, you're going to have different opinions across the board there, but as from a broadcast viewer's perspective, keeping millions of eyes locked on the screens 1 minute at a time as the games are rated, I think that's a trump card the NFL can play whenever it feels like it needs to boost its stature, maybe a little bit like they did when all of a sudden they went from no relationship with sports gambling to all of a sudden, here you go, and look what that did to the popularity and to the ratings. So I'm for 1 o'clock kickoffs across the board, 1 o'clock local time, except for the night games and I suppose the holidays as well.
Fascinating. John, the more I hear you, I can tell you're a good attorney because the more you argue your case, the more you sell me. I don't want to be on one of your juries.